Hi, I'm Angela Hughes, the luxury travel entrepreneur, and welcome to my show today where we're talking about growing your Egypt business part two. And I've got with me today Dr. Amro, an Egyptologist, and I've also got Yasser Saleh from the Cadence Vacation Center. He is a DMC in Egypt we've been working with all month to learn how to grow your Egypt business to sell more luxury travel over there. And we're going to be adding to the program Hesham Radwan from Sonesta as soon as he gets logged in. And if you notice, I've changed my background. We are going live from my bedroom. I've got a lot of
Wow.
housework going on. That's right. Housework going on, drilling and so forth. You can see it on my stories. And so welcome to the program. It's so exciting. We're doing so many things with Egypt right now. We've got a fam trip going over there through Luxury Travel University that Yasser has graciously put together for our followers in this group, in the Luxury Travel Social Media and Marketing Group, and Cadence Vacation Center and his partners, who we've been bringing on the partners all month long, are helping to host that. And so we're super excited about that. We have a few more spaces on that. If you want to reach out to me, we can get that going for you. And you can join us May 18th on that fam trip. So let's first go to Yasser Saleh to talk about his destination management company. And if you are watching, tell us where you're watching from. We want to know. And let's first go to you, Yasser, to talk about your destination management company for a minute. We've spent some time in it in the past, but tell us what you can do and how you can work with advisors here in the United States.
Hi again, Angela. Thank you for having me for the third time. I'm very happy to be there. So, Yasser Salah is my name, and I own one of the DMC's luxury DMC Cadence Vacations Center. Our location in Cairo, and we have our offices in Luxor and Aswan as we serve a classic tour. And before we start, Angela, because it's very important to know how is the COVID situation here in Egypt.
Okay, tell us.
So the statistic of yesterday, because today is not yet done, so we have 500 cases and we have more than 40 deaths.
Okay.
When you ask me, is that too much? I will tell you we are 100 million people in Egypt.
Right.
So it's like nothing when you get from 100 people, 500 cases every day, or a little bit more,
Right.
550, something like that in between. So that means we are okay. And to open an destination or to have a good tours, you have to know if this destination is opened for visits or not. Or not.
Right.
Yes, we are open for visits. Uh, Dr. Amr, our guide, I don't know, he disappeared, but he come
No,
back.
no, we just haven't added him to the screen yet, so he's here.
Okay,
Yeah.
he's here.
Yeah.
He's was one of our small group, Fortuoso small group tour, and luxury tour. And in Cairo, you just have to have your BCR test uh, to go to enter Egypt. And but if you enter Egypt from Luxor, from Hurghada, from Sharm, from Taba, you can make the same test at the same time at the airport, at the same time of arrival at
Okay.
the airport without any problems. So you could fly from your country to Luxor, Aswan, Hurghada, Sharm without test. It's allowed. And when you arrive there, you could do the test and you go to your hotel.
Okay, let's talk about it for just a minute because I know that there's already been a lot of Americans that are starting to visit Egypt right now because
Exactly,
it has been
exactly.
open. I know a lot of colleagues that are coming there, and um, they're saying it's amazing because first of all, and this happened to me after the revolution in 2011. I came like the day after the revolution. And so I was the only person at the pyramids. And that was like it was me and a bus from Abercrombie and Kent. And I thought, what a remarkable experience to be in Egypt with such low crowds right now, and to have that experience among all of the ruins. I feel like people are returning. In 2019, when I visited Egypt again, there was a big upswing in tourism coming back. I mean, we kind of went from 2011 to about 2018, where Americans didn't really travel to Egypt. There was that post revolution fear. But 2019 was a remarkable difference in an upswing in American tourists, and European tourists returning to Egypt. Is that what you saw as well?
Yes, I will tell you a very strange news. Yesterday, I get a last minute request from America.
Mm,
Usually, in normal times, when you get last minute, that means after 3 hours, 3 months. That means people will come after 3 months. That's the last minutes we have. But they want to come at the middle of March
yeah,
with private jet. Again, with private jet. You know this kind of clients.
yeah.
They never have a short trip like that. But I work on it, and they wanna come. So everything, the COVID, it changed even the conditions of booking from long term to short term booking.
And we're seeing that all over the world where people are now booking a safari and going in 4 weeks, where that used to take 8 months. Same with Egypt. If you booked Egypt, you'd probably be leaving in 6 months. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about what your DMC does. We just heard that you do private jets. What else do you do?
We do a classic itinerary for small group travels
Okay.
and for private tours and tailor-made tours. Uh,
And you can
and
also white label for the agency that's selling it. So my agency,
of
for instance,
course,
Trips and Ships
listen,
Luxury Travel, can come all white labeled.
of
And
course, listen. When the people, my clients, when they come to Egypt, they don't never know my company name. Even if you see the reviews in my YouTube, they will, it's my reviews, my clients, but they always said the name of the tour operator in America
yeah.
because the airport sign everything, at the buses, everything, we white label the names. We have no problem with that.
So one of our viewers just said a bunch of people I talked to say Egypt is on their bucket list. Are you finding that to be true?
Yes, I believe them. I believe them, and I'm waiting for them booking soon. I think they will do it.
Okay.
So
So we know that you do private jets. We know that you take care of all the ground operations. We know that you can put together hotels, and you're working with all of the hotels over there. You especially specialize
yeah,
in premium properties, premium and luxury properties. How are you different than like an Abercrombie and Kent per se, or because people are going, who's Yasser over at Cadence Vacation Center? I don't know him. He's working on like an Egyptian minute all the time. How?
it's very simple. It's like uh, uh, Abercrombie and Kent or whatever the big names. They are international and they are very famous in the American market.
Yeah.
Uh, but I'm not famous because of my white label system, and also I'm not Abercrombie and Kent. But I believe that uh, my service is very, very good service. As one of our guides, you will talk with him right now, with Dr. Amr. He is one of the best.
Okay, let's bring
And
him on right now. Let's bring him on.
okay, okay,
Okay. And I'm going to have you mute your screen. Hi, Dr.
please.
Amro. How are you?
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Good.
Hi, everyone.
It's dark over there. And where are you staying at right now?
Actually, I'm keen to show you the lights as they come up behind me on the west
Okay.
bank of Luxor. I'm staying at the Sonesta Hotel,
Okay.
and just behind me, if you look over there, you can see the lights across the river.
Yeah.
Those are actually the lights of the west bank of Luxor, where the Valley of the Kings, the Valley of the Queens, the all the temples and so on. This is where the place, I mean, I'm staying actually in the place where Egypt was ruling the world between 1500 and 1000 BC. This was the capital of the great empire of Egypt, Luxor. This is where I'm staying at the moment. I'm staying at the Sonesta, actually, and this is, by the way, a complete coincidence. So I'm just staying at the Sonesta, St. George in Luxor, and just behind me, as I'm saying, is the west bank of Luxor.
Okay, I'm also going to bring Hesham on from the Sonesta hotels. Hesham, can you hear me?
Yes, I can, definitely.
Okay, do you want to introduce yourself as well? I feel like celebrating right now because all four of us have sound and we're coming through clearly. So this is a small Egyptian miracle right now. So, okay, Hesham, do you want to introduce yourself and your brand? And then I've got lots of questions for you guys.
Sure. My name is Hisham Radwan. I'm the general manager of the Sonesta St. George Hotel in Luxor and the Sonesta St. George cruise ship on the Nile.
Yeah. So how many properties do you have over there with the Sonesta?
Sonesta is an American brand name, and we manage currently two properties in Egypt: Sonesta Hotel Cairo, Sonesta St. George, and the cruise ships.
Okay. And we are using the Sonesta Nile 1 for our fam trip. So that's going to be fantastic. And I'm sure we're going to see Dr. Amro as well. Dr. Amro, tell me a little bit about what makes you so famous, because I know that Yasser only likes to use really high-end Egyptologists and professors to guide the tour. So we're getting a lot of knowledge that you're not getting with your average guide.
Well, I've been guiding tours and leading them around Egypt for the past 31 years now.
Yeah.
So since 1989, I started doing tours around Egypt. I graduated from university with a bachelor degree, originally in tourism and history of Egypt, and then I did my master's in Egyptology in Cairo University, actually, I've been lucky to have been to everywhere in Egypt, and I've worked with different nationalities. But for the past, I would say, 20 years, I've been working mainly with Americans. That's my main tourists I've been working with, and I could say high-end also travel mainly.
Yeah. And you know what I love about you? You're so easy to understand, because sometimes I feel like you get with guides and they're like talking softly, or their English is great English, but it's a little bit hard with the accent to understand. So I love that you're so clear. That makes a huge difference for especially American listeners. Okay, Hesham, tell me a little bit about your properties over there. And let's spend a little bit of time on this, because first of all, we love the Sonesta brand. Tell us more about the ship. And then I want you to add in marketing tips, because this is actually a group, we're broadcasting to a group of advisors and different tour operators around the world about how they can actually sell your brand better. So I don't want so much product and feature, but I want marketing tips to pull people into your properties and into your cruise ship over there.
Briefly, the St. George Hotel in Luxor has been launched back to 1997. The hotel is one of the beautiful hotels in Luxor. It's an elegant property that comprised of 322 rooms and suites overlooking the Nile directly, as Amr has shown you his back scenery. The hotel has a different facilities and privileges. beautiful main dining room overlooking the pool and the Nile. Beautiful Italian restaurant specialized in Italian foods, along with the only Japanese restaurant in Luxor. It has a teppanyaki tables, sushi, selection of varieties and beautiful food, Japanese food. Also, we have a beautiful English pub bar overlooking the Nile as well. We have recently approached the mice business because the mice businesses became one of the potential segment for Egypt generally and Luxor particularly. We built a beautiful ballroom on the ninth floor of the ship of the hotel, and it's overlooking a fantastic scenery of the West Bank and the Nile that can accommodate up to 500 packs according to the setup that the clients needed. Different breakout rooms on the ninth floor. All of them are facing the Nile. Audiovisual equipment are available. The hotel also has a spectacular venue overlooking the Nile. We call it the Nile Terrace. We made a different events overlooking the Nile on the Nile Terrace, special dinners for our in-house guests. So the hotel has all the privileges and facilities for the five stars deluxe hotels in Luxor.
Okay, now
As far as
let me bring up to the screen really quick. I'm going to move the doctor for just a minute so we have more screen space here. But I want to bring up a picture of, hold on, of, let me see if I can get this up here looking good.
That's the ship.
Yeah, let me get to it. This is always tricky when we share on these screens here. I don't know if we can see that good. Let me go full, because that's just a website, but I'm going to try to explode that big. It's a little bit hard. Can you guys see that? So there's a look at the Sinesta Nile 1. Tell us a little bit about that.
This ship, the Sonesta St. George One, this ship is truly luxury cruise ships on the Nile. The ship is comprised of 5 decks, and accommodation wise, we have 57 units, out of which 9 presidential suites, 1 royal suites. The remaining inventory are deluxe cabins. On the lower deck of the ship, we you can see the main dining room of the ship. That's it. The main deck, we have the section A of the ship is accommodation. Section B is the lounge of the ship, whereby you can find the lobby of the ship. The third and the fourth floor, it's purely dedicated for the accommodation between the suites and the cabins. That's the presidential suites. The normal standard deluxe cabins, it's 28 square meters. The presidential suite is 48 square meters. The royal suite, which is one unit only, it's 58 square meters, and it's located on front of the ship, at the bow of the ship, and it has a fantastic view while sailing. We operate 2 different programs. Each Monday, we embark from Luxor for 4 nights, 5 days cruise. And each Friday, we embark from Aswan for 3 nights, 4 days cruise. Or we combined a 7 nights cruise, Luxor, each Monday embarkation. That sailing dates is fixed, and we operated since a long time ago. The ship also is perceived one of the top luxury boats on the Nile. And as I told you, is being built on 1990 in 2006.
So it looks just absolutely amazing. How is the food on board of the
How is
cruise?
what?
The food on board of the river cruise ship.
The fuel?
The food.
The food. Currently, of course, with the COVID-19 protocol, we enforce the protocol without any exceptions. The food we serve normally breakfast buffet, lunch buffet, dinner is set menu a la carte. At present, according to the circumstances of the COVID-19, Unfortunately, a buffet is not an option for the time being. However, we serve seated menus or definitely room service inside the cabins or suites.
Okay. Okay. We're bringing back on the doctor. Tell me a little bit about what we're going to see, what people are going to see, where you're taking them, and how kind of an itinerary might look like where you're guiding them to. Because again, first time sellers on here to Egypt, everything looks like a destination on a map. What does a typical, first couple days in Cairo look like with you?
Well, actually, the first couple of days in Cairo, you have some amazing things to see. You can, because normally what you do is that you do one full day at the pyramids. I'm not just talking about the famous pyramids of Giza, the three pyramids of Cheops, Khafre, and Mycerinus. We're talking where the Sphinx is as well, but we're talking also about Saqqara, and Saqqara is nearby the pyramids. So from logistic point of view, it makes perfect sense to do one day at the pyramids, where you go to Saqqara to visit the first stone building in the history of mankind. And then you go to the pyramids. So in Saqqara, actually see the origins of the pyramids over there. And then you come to the pyramids of Giza, where you see the famous pyramids and the Sphinx, which of course is the most famous item on the bucket list of everyone around the world. The visiting the pyramids of Giza, especially since it was featured, in that movie by Jack Nicholson and so on, where they were sitting next to the pyramids. It's been always there, and really, literally and physically, it is number one, on the bucket list of everyone visiting the pyramids of Giza. So one day at the pyramids, and then the second day, you normally do the Egyptian Museum, the classical Egyptian Museum, or the new Grand Egyptian Museum now, with a visit to the other Egypt that people don't think about, but actually we have another great history with. This is the land where Moses was here. So we have one of the, or actually the first Jewish synagogue in Egypt and Africa is in an area called Old Cairo. Old Cairo, this is where Jesus was as well. So from, even for those who are spiritual and a bit more on the religious side, this is something to see where Judaism was there, Christianity was there, Islam came here. So in the area of Old Cairo, you get to see a mosque, a synagogue, and a church. So that's something that is not only ancient Egypt, but you see also the other Egypt. You must remember, when we're talking pyramids, we're talking 4,800 years ago. So history and civilization didn't stop in Egypt. It continued. So it continued through the Greeks, the Romans, the Arabs, and of course, through that history in the 19th and 20th century, we had a lot of Europeans, and it's quite an interesting history, whether it's ancient Egypt or modern Egypt as well.
Okay, so many people are asking, do you think the museum's going to be opened, or is that prolonged? I think it's not going to be open, but you tell me.
Well,
the brand new
the Grand Museum is one of those projects which everyone in the whole world is looking forward to see it open. They used to make private visits. What is making me more sure that it's going to open very soon is that they even stopped the private visits, which was actually quite a big income for the museum. Where you do private tour of the just seeing the installation of all the things and so on, and you visit the restoration lab and all that. So all this has been shut. So they are really getting ready to open. So it should be open. When exactly, it officially says March. So is it really March or April? I don't know.
You know what's so exciting? It's gigantic. When I saw it in 2019, I could not believe the size of it. We're just seeing it from the roadside of how big that museum's going to be. I mean, it's so massive compared to where everything's housed now in Egypt.
Just think, Angela, that just Tutankhamun alone is 5,000 pieces. And for the first time ever, every single piece of Tutankhamun will be displayed inside one special hall. So when you think of Tutankhamun, that's 5,000 pieces. But when you think of Tutankhamun, to put it in perspective, Tutankhamun came 1,600 years after the Great Pyramid.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
there's been a lot of pharaohs, a lot of monuments, a lot of things as well. So it is going to be the largest museum on earth. It is going to house officially up till now they're talking about around 65,000 objects. And when I'm saying objects, it could be a little tiny scarab or a
Right.
gigantic statue of almost 20 feet height. I mean, for Ramses II.
Okay, I want to bring Yasser back on for just a minute. Let's have actually, I'm going to bring everybody back on the screen here. Let's have a discussion about what an itinerary looks like for your typical first-time traveler. And then I want to go to what an itinerary looks like for a second-time traveler who might want to get more invested.
Okay. First, I want to tell you how you build your itinerary in Egypt. So, if you have your itinerary like Cairo and Nile cruise, of course you arrive in Cairo and you start with Cairo, but you have to ask your clients about how many nights he want to spend on the Nile cruise, because there is a schedule. The Nile cruise is not every day.
Yeah.
There is a schedule for the Nile cruise. So if you want to go for 3 nights Nile cruise, that means you have to fly from Cairo to Aswan and have to be on Fridays. Like that's the schedule of Sonesta. So Fridays in Aswan, you could have a 3 nights cruise. But if you wanna have more than 3 nights, so you have to fly from Cairo to Luxor, and it will be on Mondays. And on Mondays, you can take two itineraries. They have two itinerary, one 4 nights and one 7 nights. The one for 7 nights is you could say it's the same one for 4 nights, but you have a lot of time for everything. Like uh, you could visit Luxor, because Luxor is we have East Bank and West Bank. So you can visit each one in one day, and you could also drive 90 kilometer north of Luxor to visit Dendara Temple. And Ambo can tell you about Dendara Temple. I love it.
Yeah.
It's colored temple. It's very good temple there. Uh, so you have, as I told you, to think about how many days. So if your clients make 3 nights, they have to go to Aswan for 3 nights,
Right.
7 nights, and 4 nights. They have to go on Monday to Luxor. And as I told you maybe before, the Cairo program is changing because of a lot of sites, new open sites like the Grand Egyptian Museum, supposed to open very soon. And I hope and I wish it will be open when you are there with your travel agents. And the Civilization Museum also is one of the biggest and beautiful museum in Cairo, in all the Cairo, beside all the churches of all the Cairo. So now you have, if you come for the first day, you have to be in Cairo for 5 nights. Less than 5 nights, you can't visit the highlights of Cairo.
I feel like that's really long for Cairo. I think I've only done 3 there, so I must be missing out on some of the highlights there because I feel like I've never stayed that long there. I feel like I'm so in love with Luxor that I could stay there like my whole life.
Yeah, exactly. Luxor is
So amazing.
one of the most beautiful places in the world.
Okay, I
So,
want to jump over real quick before we go back to you. Let's jump over to Hesham for a minute. Hesham, with the river cruising, do people book directly through you or do they go through the DMC? I would say the DMC so they can package it all together, but what's the thought process on that?
Yes. To answer your questions, some of them they go through DMCs, and some they go directly with us. But ultimately, I need to comment about what you said earlier about 2019 in terms of flow of business coming from U.S. market.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, it was excellent. And let me tell you this, because the past 2 weeks, we've been in contact with a lot of people, friends of us in the US, whether a tour operator or friends or whatever. I can see that there is a window of opportunity. It's coming very soon. I'm talking about October from US market. A lot of demands that has started to taking place from different tour operators over there, and it looks like a winner. Things is going to go back to normal. People are willing to travel. This is what I can see from the
Mhm.
interviews, emails, calls, whatever. It sounds like things is going back to normal again in October. Uh, Not heavily, but step by step. And I can see that the U.S. market is coming back.
Yeah, the prices right now at your hotel are incredible. Um, to get in on these early months prior to October. Do you feel like the values are really there for people right now?
What do you mean incredible?
Well, your pricing is great coming out right now. I'm sure we're going to see a price increase as everything starts to adjust and demand comes back.
Yeah, let me tell you briefly if you want to talk about price. For the ship, the price is going to be varies between $300 to $400 per person per night. That does include full board accommodation, including all the sightseeings between Luxor and Aswan, the daily entertainment on board, the afternoon tea every day. So I think that amount. I don't see it expensive, but we take it gradually until we reach 2022, the normal price that we used to sell it in the past.
And what were it's just throw me out like a 2018 rate just for fun. What would
What
somebody
about
have been paying like 2018, 2019 for like a 4 night cruise?
2018, 2019? It was higher than this. 2018, 2019, we had a lot of Americans with a steady business. So the prices it was higher than what I'm telling you.
Right, right.
Was like between $500 to $700 per night,
That's what I would think as
especially
well.
19. Yeah.
Okay. So the values are out there right now to start putting together Egypt, and it's only going to rise with the demand, the prices. So this is a time that you want to be marketing people that are watching. This is a time that you're going to be wanting to market Egypt, and that's first step is going to be learning how to market Egypt, and that's what we've been doing. I mean, really, this is our third series on this. I said it was part two, but we've really done three Egypt kind of live sessions on this to teach you about that. And the next one that we're going to do, I think I'm going to do it based on just complete itineraries and geography, because that's where I come in, professor of geography here, for real, and teach people, because that's one of the problems that people have selling Egypt is if they have not been there, they don't understand the landscape there or how it operates. Let's move into Luxor for just a minute with Dr. Amro for a minute. Tell us in Luxor what people are in for there. It's so exciting. Let me go unmute you. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Yeah.
No problem. Luxor actually, some people consider it, I mean, it's got more than 1/3 of the archaeological sites in the world. I mean, more than 1/3 of the history of the world is in Luxor over here. Because I want you to imagine, if we think of Egypt as having between 1500 and 1000 BC, having almost in Luxor here living 1.5 million people, 1 to 1.5 million people. I want you to imagine a city that size. So, and people were living an average life of 35 years. So you can imagine that almost 2 to 300 million people lived over here. Can you imagine how much they left behind? Especially in ancient Egypt, people did not love death, but they wanted to be prepared for it. They considered it an eternity. They are going to come back. They are going to come back and live in Egypt. And they just go to the west, just behind me. They go to the West Bank. This is where they are going on a journey. And like the sun, that's why, by the way, it's called the West Bank, because this is where the sun goes every night. And the sun never dies. The sun comes back to life again the next morning. So it comes back from the east. So each one is destined for this journey. You're going to live here on the East Bank. This is where you can see the temples of where you do the daily rituals for the gods, like the temple of Luxor. And of course, the grand temple of Karnak, which nothing in the world equals the grand temple of Karnak. Karnak is unbelievable. Karnak,
it's simply amazing. I think Karnak is one of those places in the world that you're just like, this is so hard to believe that this even exists.
You stand in it. I mean, I've been doing this, as I said, for 31 years and 4 years of study. I've been coming to Luxor for 35 years. And I must say, every time I still go to Karnak, it really, makes me stand amazed, because when I give some free time to the people to take some photographs and so on, I just stand and let myself just wander around, because I'm sure I'm going to see a new glyph. I'm going to see a new thing I haven't noticed before or something like that. You're talking almost of more than 200 acres of buildings, that were built over 1,000 years of time, when Egypt was a great empire at that time. So you lived here, you lived on the East Bank, and then one day you were destined to cross to the West Bank. It was not death to the ancient Egyptians. It was actually a journey. You're going on a journey like the sun god, and you go to the West Bank to rest over there like the sun god, and you're going to fight your way back. So that's why you're coming back to Egypt, and that's why you want to preserve on the walls of your tomb what you've enjoyed very much, and you want to enjoy again when you come back to life. So that's why you have a variety of things in the West Bank. You have the tombs of the nobles, which are unbelievable, because it's everything I've enjoyed doing in my life, and I'm going to put it over there, because this is my house of eternity. So if I enjoyed fishing, hunting in the marshes, doing things for my king, because a lot of those noblemen were actually great people working for the different kings. If I'm a king, I'm actually like the gods. So in the Valley of the Kings, my journey is different. I've got those amazing colored scenes. By the way, everyone, when they see them, they imagine they are inside the pyramids. Actually, no. Those beautiful colored scenes of the kings and the gods, they are only here in the Valley of the Kings, in the West Bank of Luxor. Yeah. In the Valley of the Kings, this is where King Tutankhamun was discovered in 1922. And in the Valley of the Kings, there are 64 tombs for different kings and queens. You have the Valley of the Queens, where there was this feminist move, and women decided to have their own valley over there. It's an amazing, beautiful valley, which is really beautiful, showing the very powerful role the women played in ancient Egypt, because women played a very important and very powerful role. Egypt was one of the very first countries where women were very powerful. Women were responsible for Egypt becoming what it was, during that new kingdom, because their kings were busy fighting wars outside Egypt, making an empire, while the queens were ruling the country. Actually, the very first female rulers in the history of mankind were here in Luxor. We have very strong women, very powerful women who ruled Egypt, and they actually did a lot of great things to Egypt over here.
Okay, let's move over to Yasser for a minute. Tell us about some add-ons you could do once you've done Cairo, you've done the river cruise, you've gone to Luxor. Then what does somebody want to add on if they want more extended time?
Of course, there is two outside destination or inside destination. If you talk about Egypt, you could, of course, go to Red Sea. And in Red Sea, we have two spots, very famous spots, Hurghada, where you could find luxury hotels like Oberoi Sahl Hashish, and of course, if you fly to Sharm el-Sheikh.
Sharm el-Sheikh, yep.
Yes, you will find also there a very beautiful, one of the most beautiful Four Seasons hotel there.
Now, because I have not been to Sharm el-Sheikh, is that more for just the sunbather type? Is that going to be more your resort experience there?
Exactly. It's a resort experts, and uh, you could have some option tour there, like you could dive. There is a lot of activity. You could make a Sahara safari, desert safari. You could go to Ras Muhammad for diving, and also you could go to St. Catherine, Mosesberg,
Yeah.
for one day or for one night if you wanna climb the Mount of Moses.
Okay. Moving on to a different question. What if
But
people are coming in
can,
on?
can I add something?
Yeah.
Because today is the highlight of the webinar today is was Mr. Hisham, because he make a very unique thing, very unique events inside the temples for our clients. And I would like to give
Okay,
him,
let's talk about that for a minute.
yeah, I would like to give him some time to talk about that because it's very important.
Okay, let's talk about that. Let's move on to that for a minute.
Okay. Uh, as I told you, that one of the marketing tool, as you said, that Egypt require marketing. The events inside the temple is a magnificent experience for any nationality, especially Americans. We used to do a lot of events for Americans, whether inside Luxor Temple or Karnak Temple, or even on the West Bank at Habu Temple or Hatshepsut Temple as well. Last year, for example, we've done the Opera Aida concert. It was international one, international singers. They came all through different destination to Luxor. We have done a beautiful opera Aida ceremony and gala dinner inside the Hatshepsut temple. Needless to mention that uh, the setup inside the temple at night is amazing. When we do setup and we light up the entire temple, the sense of arrival at any temples in Luxor, whether east or west, is an experience. Needless to mention that we normally serve a seated menu dinner inside the temple. We built kitchen with a complete production line, with a 5 courses
Okay.
menu. And the setup, we do an elegant setup with a platform, a wooden platform, whereby we can put the tables stable. People can dine comfortably. We do windbreak as well, so that sometimes it has a little bit wind to prevent the wind to the attendees. The entertainment as well, whether harpist or saxophone or folkloric show.
So,
So
and that's you're
normally
making this all through your hotel. Your hotel's moving this all
we
off-site
move we
as part
move
of
all the
an
footprint.
incentive group or something like that.
Absolutely,
You can do all of
absolutely.
these extras.
Absolutely. We tailor made any events according to the client's requirements, the manpower, the staff, the equipment, the trucks that transfer all the food, and then cook it, eliminate inside the temple. Uh, the experience truly is a magnificent one. And it requires certain time to serve the dinner inside the temple. For example, Luxor Temple, normally it closed for the public at 9 p.m. So once the public goes out, then our clients to start to get in so that they can feel that the entire temple is exclusively for them. We do a red carpet, floor candles on floor, opera music ceremony upon entrance, and then we take everybody to the venue itself. So this is, I consider it personally, and this is what we depend on. It's one of our marketing tool to promote our property, definitely, and the entire destination, Luxor destination.
Okay,
Uh,
and one thing I didn't know is, first of all, I didn't even know we were going to be talking about that, but that gives me so many ideas where you could do destination wedding there. You could do corporate events. You could do an incentive event. So think about it, friends who are watching this, all the different possibilities of just working with these three people to tie that all together. Hesham is doing like full blown, MICE events right there in some of the most amazing places in the world. Like that's a surprise for me today. So that's super exciting.
Absolutely, it's beautiful experience even for the normal clientele or for the corporate events, as you said. Last year, we've done a lot of international corporate events in 2019s, whether from outside Egypt or the GCC or Europe. Yes, but wedding precisely, it's not allowed to do wedding inside the temples. It's by the authorities, antiquities, but
Mhm.
only gala dinners, events for normal clientele or corporate clientele.
That's amazing. So destination wedding people, you can do a bunch of different options here. I see so many possibilities with that. Okay, you guys, we're out of time. So I just want to give you each a minute to wrap up. Let's start with Dr. Amro. Any closing arguments here? Closing statements? Oh, hold on. Let me get you unmuted. See, I mute you guys. I can't hear you. Now I can hear you again.
Okay, so I just want to tell you everybody that Egypt was and still and always be a great sales point, because Egypt will always remain the number one in, or one of the very important places to go. It's always the dream, even since the 1860s. The very first organized tour in the world came by Thomas Cook, the man himself. He brought it to Egypt over here in the 1860s. It was the very first tour, escorted tour to Egypt, international tour to cross the ocean and the sea to come to Egypt. And I think, and being on a Nile cruise, that was the very first thing he thought of. He built the first steamers on the Nile. So I think it is still a great sales point. So anyone who's thinking of travel, luxury travel especially, there are a lot of options. So definitely, we would love to have you over here. And it would be, I think, once you start the vaccination process in the US takes a great role, I think it would be very easy to sell Egypt, and we'll be waiting for you with a big smile.
Yeah, I'm so excited. And I think that we're going to do some live video together when I'm there in May. And
Sure.
you and I are just going to do our own little program,
Sure.
from some of our locations. I think that would be really fun to come live with Dr. Rowe while we're there in May. And speaking about May, we still have spots on our fam trip for May for advisors. And we've just opened up some new spots for that. So get in touch with me on that. Okay, let's go to Hesham just to finish up over at Sonesta Hotels and the Sonesta Nile one.
The closing, I just want to say that I need to say welcome to everybody. And welcome is not just a word of friendly greetings, but it's truly a promise of hospitality. We are waiting for all of you to Egypt. Egypt is ready to receive back to normal the flow of business from US. It's our favorite marketplace that we deal with. And we'll be waiting for you on the fan trip in May, definitely, to welcome you on board.
Yeah, we're so excited. Okay, Yasser, before we close, there was one question. What was the name of the mountain if someone is pre-tripping at Sharm and diving at Ras Mohammed? What's the name of that mountain that you said?
Moses
Oh,
Mountain.
that's easy. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I didn't see any other questions come in. So let's finish up with you.
Okay, we never talk about Abu Simbel.
Okay, let's finish up with that then.
Okay, Abu Simbel, one of
And
the
now he's
highlights,
frozen.
one of the highlights in Egypt. So I mean, if you don't, if you to Abu Simbel, if you fly to Egypt and don't go to Abu Simbel, it's big loss for everyone. So when you went, how you visit Abu Simbel, you must be in Aswan to visit Abu Simbel, because Abu Simbel is south of Aswan, 280 kilometers of Aswan. Some clients would like to drive there. It's like 3 hours and a half one way.
Okay.
So 7 hours, and they spend about 2 hours there to visit the temple of Abu Simbel. And a lot of clients, especially our clients, they fly to Abu Simbel. And when you fly to Abu Simbel with Egypt Air, there is a shuttle bus with one guide take you to Abu Simbel. All the clients, one bus, one guide for one bus. But Cadence Vacation Center provide a private tour only for our clients. If we have one client or one group, we provide our special guide. Of course, we pay more for that, but it will be better than to go with shuttle bus and so on. So we control the quality of everything, even at Abu Simbel.
Now, real quick, I know people are thinking this. Are you helping them arrange the COVID test to depart?
Where?
If they need a COVID test to depart out of Egypt, you can help arrange
Of
that.
course, we have a contract with one of the big hospital, and they come to the hotel.
So
We don't let our clients go to the Egyptian hospital to make the test, but we bring someone to have the test there at the hotel, and in 24 hours they will get back with the result.
okay, perfect. Okay, you guys, it's been such a treat having you on today. We're going to continue our series on selling Egypt. Like I said, we've got space on our fam trip. You can register for that over at the luxurytraveluniversity.com. We're getting ready to close that trip. We've just added some more space. So if you want to join us, it's going to be amazing. We're at the Four Seasons Hotel. We're also on the Sonesta Nile 1, and we'll be seeing Dr. Amro on that experience as well. And so thank you guys for joining me. And tune in next week. We're every Tuesday and a lot of different Thursdays talking about growing your luxury travel market share. See you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye.